Tom's kind of frozen.
Yeah, he looks cold too.
He's probably
Maybe that's why he's
upstaying,
frozen.
knowing Tom. Yeah. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Tom's on. Jackie, Brett Swartz in the house. Let me get where I can see everyone on here. Oh, yeah. Look at everybody coming on. Trevor,
Hey, Mitch, how you doing?
Trevor's coming on. Yeah. Amir's here. Hey, Frank Crandall in the house. All right. Don Yoakum. Good to see you. It feels like it's been a while. I've been all over the place. Yeah. Trevor's getting her audio connected. Gonna have a great meeting today. Jackie, always a treat to see you. Thank you for your offer of helping out earlier. You're awesome.
I'm always there for you.
I know, you're awesome. And Amir, he's up there. That background, what is that? That's the Marin side of things. That's a good vantage point for photos.
Flying over the bridge.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We got people pouring in here. This is good stuff. And then we got the other Amir from the St. Louis area. Hello, Amir Hotich.
Hey, Mitch. Good to see you.
Hello.
Yes, good to see you.
Hello from St. Louis. Hey, Matt, how are you?
In the house. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Good stuff. Well, we'll just give it a couple more minutes. We got a special treat today. We're going to get into all kinds of different lead generation systems and ideas and opportunities to help you grow your business in this. It's kind of an interesting market, right? It's still pretty robust, multiple offers, but yet inventory is low or down. So we're going to get into some ways to get more listings, get more leads, help you guys get your next deal.
I thought I was just doing stand-up today. What are you talking about?
Right? And you're going to play your guitar, right? You're going to play.
I'm always going to play my guitar.
Yeah.
Always sitting in my corner there.
Play us a little something here before we get going here.
And we'll just do a little. How about a little? We'll keep it mellow. This is not my best sounding guitar. This is my crap guitar at one of my offices.
Already making excuses, huh, Mitch?
I am. How about
No excuses needed. That's really good.
Cool stuff, right?
Yeah. So Mitch told me that before every Zoom, he practices his guitar. So he does 6 to 8 Zooms a day. He goes, I'm getting pretty good at the guitar.
Well, I actually hired a guitar coach 4 months ago. I've been playing for 49 years, and I used to look really cool before this shit happened. And I've excelled at pretty much every level of my life except for my guitar. So I decided, and we have a band reunion. We haven't been together since 1983. We have a band reunion August 25th and 26th. And they have no clue. I haven't told them.
McCarthy gave us 100, almost 100K.
Should be fun.
Cohen.
That's awesome. Hey, Mariah, we hear you. Good job on the 100K. That's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
All right. Well, let's get rocking and rolling here. We try to keep it on a time schedule. Wanted to have a little more people hopping on here, but we have a special guest, Mitch Ribak. I always say Ribak, and that's not correct.
Ribak.
It's Ribak. And Mitch has quite an extensive background, quite an entrepreneur. He actually was the first dating app. He created the first dating app in the country. Pretty awesome. He had
before apps. There was no such thing as an app back then.
Oh, okay. So it was, online, right? Like a website or something, right? The first dating presence online. And then number 3, paintball out there, and just had built a brokerage, has over 2,000 agents now in his brokerage at EXP, spanning 49 states. I was kind of curious, what's the 50th state you're missing?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. It's coming, my friend.
I might fly up there, just go to West Virginia.
Just to go get one. Yeah. And, but he teaches and trains. He's got a pretty extensive schedule. He's in high demand. He actually built our NSA program at EXP, one of the leaders there. NSA is no sponsor affiliation. So if people are going online, hearing about EXP, and they kind of start to sign up, but don't have a sponsor, EXP grabs that information, and then we're able to reach out and follow up, and that's helped grow the company. So he was instrumental in that. But today we want to get into just lead generation ideas, coming out of the box and helping agents get their next deal, because that really is at the forefront of their mind right now as the market's constricted and things are a little tighter, but yet the bills and the spending a lot of times doesn't change at the same degree. So anyway, so Mitch, I'm going to step aside and let you kind of take over. I may interject just a little bit here and there with some ideas or questions just to keep it interesting, having a little back and forth, but take it away, my friend.
Sure. Well, thanks, and thanks for having me, Matt. It's really always good to see you. Although I'd rather play golf with you. I'm playing good golf right now, so I wouldn't mind playing you again. I shot an 86 yesterday. So
Okay.
getting
I better
better.
bring my money.
All right. Yeah. I like the money. It's good. So anyway, so a couple of things before we start. It's funny. I've trained thousands of agents, and there's one thing in common with almost every agent I've ever trained is that they've never built a foundation for their business. So therefore, when the market gets bad, they don't have a business.
Mm.
And what do I mean by that? So I've owned 23 companies over the last 42 years. I know I look like I'm 25 years old, but I'm not. And Zoom has an amazing thing that gets rid of your wrinkles too. It's really cool. But anyways, so um, every business I've ever owned, I built a foundation. What is a foundation? A foundation is, where do I get my business from? Right? If I don't have a market understanding of my business, I don't have a business. And that's what I found with, I deal with locally. I have 180 agents locally that I help grow their businesses, and they all have the same thing. They just don't build a foundation. So the foundation to me is your sphere of influence. If you talk to anybody that's hugely successful in this business, hugely successful, they don't buy leads. They don't go on Zillow. They have a sphere of influence that they've nurtured, and the number is 7%. So what does that mean? Seven out of 100 of your contacts are going to buy or sell a home this year. All right, and that's a standard number for the industry, by the way. I didn't make that number up. And so you have to build your foundation. I'm not going to get into it's a whole class I run on this, but if you don't have an organized sphere of influence, you're missing out on building a real business. That's the first thing. Second thing is, when the market changes and the market shifts, you have to go back to basics. So what are the basics? So I sold 36 homes my first year without knowing one person here, except for my girlfriend, who's now my wife, and you've met her. She's short. She's not buying anything, and she lived with me at the time, so she was definitely not buying anything. And so I did that through open houses. And 28 of my first 36 sales were open houses. I never sold less than 24 homes in a year from open houses. Even when I was selling 80 homes, 100 homes a year, I still did an open house every week.
Hmm.
Because it was free, with the exception of some water and cookies, right? And it was a guaranteed steady revenue. But there's always buyers. It's just a matter if they're going to use you or somebody else. So I'll give you a couple quick tips on open houses. Firstly, everybody asks the same question when someone walks in the door. Are you working with a realtor? And 90% say yes. And that's the end of that conversation. So you never ask, are you working with a realtor? You say, which realtor in town are you working with?
Mm.
You get a completely different response every single time. So that's number one. Number two, and there's again more details to all this stuff, which is not going to be accomplished in 30 minutes. But the other thing is, I always pick 2 more homes in the area that are vacant, and I always did 10 to my open houses were 10 to 4. But I only did vacant homes. So I told my sellers, I'm probably just going to do a couple of hours, but depending on my schedule today, I might be here all day. So I got my permission to leave. Never advertised an open house, right? I only put out about 25, 30 signs, because we learned that 90% of the people that come to open houses come from signs, right? So I always pick these 2 homes that are vacant nearby, and here's my line. It's really, really simple. Here, Matt, we'll role play for a second. Okay?
Yeah.
So Matt, what do you think of the house?
That's not bad. I was kind of looking for something a little bigger.
Okay, is this the price range that you're looking for?
Yeah, actually.
So I actually have a couple more homes. Actually, one of them's a little bit bigger, one's about the same size, but laid out a little bit differently. Down the street, want to go take a quick look?
Right now, don't you have your open house?
I'll put it on pause for you. I'll go pause it for a few minutes. We'll go take a look.
Wow. Sure, if it's not too much trouble.
Nope. 80% say yes. 80% say yes. So what does that give me? First of all, it gives me more time than 5 minutes. Now it's a little challenging when there's a lot of people coming through. So if you're doing a partnership with somebody, it's even easier because one person can stay while one leaves. But I didn't care. If I had multiple people in the room, I would try to get this information in my 5 minutes. But if I didn't have a lot of people, I put it back in 30 minutes, sign on the door, and then I go take and show those houses. My only goal in that and showing those homes was to find out their buying time frame.
Hmm.
So if I find out they're buying now and they're pre-approved, in the second house, say, you guys seem like really good people. I go, I really don't feel like doing an open house today. You guys want to look at more homes? Almost always they say yes, right?
Hmm.
And then I just go pick up my signs and I'm done. I close the open house, I'm done. I got permission to leave at the beginning. I explained to my owner I'm not going to be there, right, for the whole time. And now I get to leave. I only leave if they're buying right now. So they're pre-approved and they're looking right now. Other than that, I'm great. We'll set you up and getting new listings and move on forward like a regular lead. So that's open houses in a really quick nutshell. The other thing I love, and by the way, I love free stuff because what I found about most realtors, they don't have a lot of marketing budget. So yeah, I'm known as the godfather of internet lead conversion and all that stuff. That takes a lot of money and cost to get all that done. The other thing I love, one of my agents in California does this. He does 30 homes a year just sitting at Starbucks.
Really?
That's all he does. So 8 to 11, Monday through Friday, that's his job. He goes to Starbucks, gets wired on coffee. On the back of his laptop, it says real estate question, ask me. Brilliant. So here's the cool thing about Starbucks. And it's the only place that does this that I know of that's consistent. The guy that comes in at 9:02 today will be there at 9:02 tomorrow, 9:02 the next day because they're addicted to that stuff, right? That's
Yeah.
why I never drank it because it's too expensive and I'd be addicted. I don't drink coffee, but my point is, it's if you're facing the line with the back of your laptop facing them, and every day they walk in and say, "Real estate question, ask me." What are they going to do? They're going to ask you a question. He said it took about 2 months for the first person to approach him, and he's now sold. This is, I think, his fourth or fifth year of doing this. He sold 30 homes a year just from that.
You know what I think's brilliant about that is this whole aspect of agents say, "Oh, I need an office. I need an office," which, clients are not walking in their office at, KW, Coldwell Bank or whatever, but they're certainly walking in every day at Starbucks. And you could be there, calling your database, doing, multitasking, and you're just positioned right there where the line, they're staring at your computer and they see you every day, consistency. They're going to ask. They're
It's
going to
all
ask.
consistent, yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, a lot of people are like, I talked to an agent, it's true story. This is a week before shareholders. So I have an agent come in. She's been with us 4 months, hasn't had a sale yet. I go, what are you doing all day long? She goes, well, I'm doing social media and all this stuff on my Facebook. I go, so you don't leave the house, right? She goes, well, no. I go, well, what do you think's going to happen when you don't leave the house? Has anybody knocked on your door saying, "Hey, I want you to be my realtor"? She says, "No." I said, "I want you to do this. There's a place in Cocoa Village called Osario's. It's a really cool coffee shop. There's always a line. I want you to go in there, and I want you to look at the person either in front of you or behind you, and I want you to say, 'How's your day going today?' Right?" And I go, "You will get into a real estate conversation." So here's the thing. I just did a video on this the other day. I've sold dozens of homes at Publix, our grocery store here. I walk in, "How's your day going today?" What do they say right back to you? "Great, how's your day going?" "Oh, I'm in the real estate business. It's crazy." "Oh, you're in the real estate business?" Boom. I know our real estate conversation. Everywhere I go. I did it 3 times yesterday just to play with it. I like doing it. It's fun. And then you add them to your market updates and all the other stuff you do. So anyway, so she leaves the office. She goes to Asario's. 2 hours later, she calls me up. She goes, "You're not going to believe this." I go, "What?" She goes, "I got a listing." The guy in front of her wanted to list his house, and because you happen to be in front of them at the time they're thinking about buying or selling, which is why they use you, she got that listing.
Go
So
ahead.
easy. No, so it's just so easy.
So last week, I got to tell you that you prompted. So last week, my wife and I stayed after shareholders and drove around Florida to look at various cities, and we drove all over the state, right? And I've door knocked thousands of doors and, all this stuff, been doing this multiple decades. So I'm not afraid to talk to people. And I know real estate's a high contact sport, like you're saying. And so we're possibly looking at buying a house in Florida and so on, but I'd love to get one that is not already listed. Right. And so I'm driving down these streets or whatever. And if somebody's walking their dog, I literally pull up and like, hey, how you doing? We're from California, we're thinking, or whatever, and just striking up conversation. I have 3 legitimate listing leads out there that are off market and 3 different towns, just from stopping, talking to people, walking their dog, making friends, and so on. And so, everybody on this call, if you're not, you got to realize real estate is a high contact sport. You got to get in front of people and build relationship and ask questions and so on. And there's tons of business out there.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, and it's really important that you're organized. I mean, this is where I go back to your sphere of influence. Your sphere should constantly be growing. It's not a movement thing. So maybe you have 200 or 300 people today. Now I just had that conversation with somebody at our grocery store, and I say, one of the things I like to do for people I meet is set them up so they're getting all of our market updates every month. Would you like to be on our list? They always say yes, always. I've never had anybody say no, actually. Right? So it's all, I mean, but I've met investors that way. I met one guy who's doing a development, and I'm pretty sure we're getting the listing for the 180 homes he's building right now, which is really cool, in the grocery store.
Wow.
And it's the same thing. Every single conversation. Hey, how's your day going today? And they always say, good, great. Once in a while they say, oh, my life sucks. Or I did have a few weeks ago, one person, well, my dad just died. That was a tough one. She didn't ask you how my day was going. But generally speaking, they're going to ask you that back. You say, oh, I'm in the real estate business, crazy business. Really simple. So those are all. And by the way, everything I've talked about so far is free, right? There's
Yeah,
not one,
absolutely. No
not one
cost.
penny.
Just,
By the way, going back to Starbucks for a second, it's also a way to increase your price point. So if you're in an area where you don't like your price point, go to a Starbucks in an area where you like the price point. Makes sense?
yeah, I think Don Yoakum's got a question that he'd like to interject here. So
Yeah, go ahead.
fire away, Don.
Yeah, and it conveniently it is regarding the Starbucks realtor. So you mentioned he's in California. What city?
He's on, I believe I've only met him once. It was 4 years ago, 3 years ago, right before COVID. So he's in San Diego area, somewhere in that area, Southern California.
Is he in your organization?
No.
Oh, he isn't. Okay. Because I was thinking it would be really cool for us to interview him. I'd love to actually have a picture of him sitting behind his computer with that sign on his computer.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so I have I couldn't tell you honestly, I don't remember who it was. I just remember the story. If he could walk in my office right now, I wouldn't recognize him because I have trouble remembering what I look like. Thank God for mirrors. Yeah, it's just made, but it's creative, right? And that's the key to all this. So like when I developed my open house plan, it was about being creative and being different than everybody else. Like everybody's like, I can't believe you don't advertise your open houses. Like, well, then I can't leave if I advertise them. When I first doing internet, I was the first person doing forced registration on the internet. And people are like, well, I can't believe you make people register on your website. I go, I'm marketing my website. Why would I not do that? Well, what about the people that don't register? I go, what about them? I don't care about them. I care about the 15% that register. So it's thinking a little bit differently. I did really well. So I did the same open house every week. And then I really owned the neighborhood. By the end of my second year there, I sold 8 listings in there. I did like 20 buyers in there, just that neighborhood. And I started doing, this is another thing you can do, welcome to the neighborhood parties. So I had a big sign, welcome to the neighborhood, and I sent out a postcard to everybody in the neighborhood, come meet the Joneses, hot dogs and hamburgers and beer and wine and water. And in the driveway, we'd have a little party for a couple of hours, and I inevitably meet more people. It cost me like $100, right? I meet more people in the neighborhood. And then when I sold high end, I did this for a friend of mine as a pitcher for the Phillies when we just retired a couple of years ago. I bought a $2 million house. I said, look, let's have a big welcome party, but let's invite 5 of your closest couple friends, and I'm going to bring in a private chef, and we're going to have an amazing dinner. I sold 2 $850,000 homes from that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got to meet them intimately, and I do it sooner than later because sooner they still like you. Nothing broke yet at the house. If you do it later, then they may not like you so much. And by the way,
awesome.
I made $50,000 on the $2 million house. It cost me $3,000 to bring in a private chef.
Yeah, good return on investment. Yeah,
Absolutely.
because you got 2 sales from that. Awesome. Keep them coming. What other ideas do you have for us?
all right. So one of my favorite ones, because we're in the beach here, we're in the Cocoa Beach area. So I like staycations. These are really fun. We've done this a lot over the years. Is we'll go to a beach hotel on Cocoa Beach, and who's at places in the hotels on the beach? Not people from Cocoa Beach, people from everywhere. So
Yeah.
again, I'm very shy, so I have a little difficulty talking to people. But I'll just meet people at the bar, meet people at the pool. Inevitably, I've always sold homes that way. That's been really easy. And it's a write-off. So we go away for a nice weekend and write it off. Taxi people, drivers. I have a friend of mine who's a taxi driver at the port. And so I would just give him business cards every quarter. He stopped there a couple months ago. He's working a couple of years ago. He's working somewhere else now. But I would give them my business cards. Oh, what are you doing in town? He'd always ask. Oh, we're just here on the cruise because we have Port Canaveral here. And he would hand out my business cards. Hey, I was talking to this cab driver. He gave me a phone number. Okay. Easy. Again, getting out there. Social media is great, but it's very limiting and it's very confining. It's not going to help you talk to people. And how do you become better at talking to people? By actually talking to people, right? Hank Abnick, one of my good friends, Hank Abnick, always talks about time on task. If you're not spending time practicing, you're not going to be good, right? I mean, that's just the reality. When I first got in the business, the first day was September 10th, 2001. The next day was 9/11. The next 3 days, I wrote 10 fake contracts each day because I knew that was going to be my weakness, being ADD. And then I had my first open house on Saturday, and I remember driving there going, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I got zero training at all. My broker didn't train and told me that. I didn't care. And I said, well, I'll just act like a realtor. I slept at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I'll just act like a realtor. And it was easy. I just made jokes and talked to people. Now it is funny, hard. If you're not funny, it's the hard business. When you're funny like me, it's really easy. It's a joke. What else? Let me pull up. I have so many more things.
Pull up your list here. We got
Yeah.
about 7 minutes.
Oh, let's
6
talk about
minutes.
farming real quick. So this one does cost money, but nobody farms. Like, how many of you have actually received consistent postcards from somebody? So farming
getting to be
works
rare.
very, very rare. I don't get them. We live in a waterfront community, and I literally have never gotten I'll get one time, I'll get a just listed or just sold, but no one's consistent. So I learned this from my friend Jack in Virginia. I had a friend of mine's, a customer's buying a house sight unseen, and he said, well, we have to sell our house first, but we're going to use our neighborhood realtor. I'm like, neighborhood realtor? I go, what's his name? His name is Jack. So I call Jack. It's Alexandria, Virginia. And I go, Jack, my friend's going to call you to list this house. I don't want a referral fee. He's like, well, what do you want then? I go, I want to know how you became the neighborhood realtor. So this is what he did. It was brilliant. Now, I'll be honest, I've never done this because I was selling so many homes. I really couldn't take on any more business. But I've taught this to lots of people who say it works great. So he picked a neighborhood with 1,000 homes. Now, it's very important if you get a farming neighborhood that you know the turnover rate. If the turnover rate's less than 8%, then don't waste your money, right? Remember, it's also the same cost to do a more expensive neighborhood than a less expensive neighborhood, right? But your turnover rate, so we 8% or better. 1,000 homes. He did 8 postcards in a row, and they were not the little postcards, the bigger postcards, right? 8 in a row, 8 weeks in a row. He did postcard, then every other week forever. And when I talked to him, it was the end of his second year of doing this, by the way. He then got permission from the clubhouse, from the community, to do quarterly events at the clubhouse. So he did, like, it wasn't all real estate related. He did a Super Bowl party. He did had a financial guy come in once. He had a travel person come in once. He got permission from the HOA to maintain the front entrance. So when you drove in, he was replacing flowers almost every weekend, waving to everybody, "Hey, everybody." And then my favorite one is when someone in the neighborhood, husband would die, and a couple, the house needs a paint job or whatever. He would put together a postcard with everybody but that person on the postcard, and get 10 to 15 people to help him paint the house over the weekend. And he truly became the neighborhood realtor. So his cost per year was $18,000. Average price at the time was $500,000 a sale, a lot more now. And at the end of his second year, he had sold 50 listings.
Listings, 50.
We didn't even talk about buyers that he got from it.
Dang.
Well, think about it. All you see when you drive around that neighborhood is his signs.
Mm-hmm.
So he truly, in a 2-year period, became the neighborhood realtor.
Yeah. And he probably double-ended quite a few of those.
I'm sure he did. Yeah. So again, so $18,000 a year. And by the way, you could do it a lot cheaper now. That was in 2003. It was a lot more expensive to do that, but now everything's a lot cheaper. But in fact, I priced it for one of my agents, and I think for 500 homes, it was going to cost her $1,000 a month for the big postcards mailed.
Okay, and that's 4 times that
That's
first month.
twice per month.
Per month. Okay.
So with all of this stuff, I want you to keep one thing in mind. The statistic from NAR is that 88% of the realtor. 88% of consumers said they would use the realtor again. The stat is 11% do.
Wow.
And why is that? People use you because you happen to be in front of them when they're thinking about buying or selling. That's it. Think about it. I mean, a brand new agent comes in who's never sold a house before and sells 36 homes. It's because he happened to be in front of people when they're thinking about buying or selling, right?
Mm-hmm.
They also sold homes before. They didn't use their realtor again. Why not? Because they didn't work their sphere properly. Our sphere program, we keep in touch with everybody twice a month. If you go to my YouTube channel, which has a ton of training on there, look up how to make $100,000 a year working 4 hours a day. And I talk about the sphere in open houses. And you literally can make, obviously depending where you live, if you're in California, it's how to make $250,000 a year working 4 hours a day. My area, it's how to make $100,000.
Well, let's do this because we only got a couple minutes. I want to see if there's a question or two maybe out there that I want to give an opportunity for someone to boldly ask a clarifying question or something on your mind.
I'd like to meet one of your farmers, Mitch. That I know you didn't do farming, but do you have somebody in your organization that is following that system?
Yeah, I'll have to see who's
described?
doing it because I don't follow it. I mean, I teach stuff and people call me and say I'm doing it, but I don't pay attention. I mean, I have 2,200 people.
Sure.
I don't really pay attention to what I know. None of my local people do because in Florida, for some reason, people don't like to work. I call them six-pack workers. They want to make enough for a six-pack of beer and a bag of weed, and they're happy.
Jeez.
But I'll try to find somebody for you. All right.
Well,
Yeah.
it's so nice. I mean, all of your ideas are amazing. I think what happens is getting people to do stuff is hard, but when they actually meet the person that is doing it,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes real for them. And so we'd love to interview people like that.
Yeah, well, the open houses I could find because I know a lot of people do that. In fact, I got an email from a guy on Workplace not too long ago. I'll try to find it for you. A text that he implemented my open house plan exactly how I did it, and he goes, I just want to tell you, it's 2 months since I talked to you, and I got my first $7,000 check from doing exactly what you say. So
That's
I'll see if I
great.
can find that guy for you.
That's great.
Awesome.
Well, we really appreciate you taking the time, Mitch, to hop on and give us some ideas. Definitely, everyone, hop on his YouTube channel. Is there a handle for the YouTube or?
It's just my name.
Okay. And a lot more training and videos and diving deeper there. Tom, go ahead and you probably got some announcements. Hopefully your connection's good. Looks like you're frozen on me.
Absolutely. Okay, can you hear me now?
We can. Fire away.
Okay. Okay, this Friday, talking about open houses, we've got Chris Akamora with 30 open houses in 30 days. Freedom Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, Mitch.
Sure,
Love
my
it.
pleasure.
Love it. Also, for those, Don, you want to talk about, we made a slight change on the dial for dollars, right? Isn't it? We're still doing it, but now we have a WhatsApp group where we still have the accountability. Maybe you want to give some insight on that?
Sure. Yeah, we have a number of people that are calling, which is great. However, they weren't necessarily calling during our dial for dollars. And also we have it, of course, we have people in all different time zones. So that caused further complications. So what we did is Megan set up a WhatsApp group called Dial for Dollars. And we have about a dozen of us now reporting every single day, calls, contacts, appointments set, appointments met. And we would love for you to join in with us. And it's nice to see the numbers. It's nice to see the activity. We acknowledge you for that. And who knows, maybe there'll even be, like Kim was rewarded for showing up for Dial for Dollars. There'll be some enrichment for those that participate. So if you'd like to join us on WhatsApp for that, we'd love to have you reach out to Megan and she will see that you get added.
That's awesome. Yeah. And the good thing about that is when you're on that group and you see people, you realize there's others out there that are putting the work in. And if you're a little competitive like me or whatever, you're like, okay, Doc, I got to stay on point here. Like Don's so busy and he's still making calls. This guy's a beast, you know, and you realize why their group's growing and different stuff. And they're putting more deals in escrow and all that is because they're out doing the work. And sometimes when we're virtual, we're kind of removed from all of that, you know, like if it was in one office or whatever. But even still, when you're at a brick and mortar, you don't know that everybody's working behind the doors. But when you're reporting your numbers, the real deal, right, where the rubber meets the road, you go, okay, yeah, Amir is humping there. He's doing it. He's making the calls. Good for him, you know, and he's got 250 plus people in his group. So there you go. No surprise. So, all right, you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Appreciate all the time. Mitch, thank you for taking time out of your busy
Thank you,
schedule.
Mitch.
We really appreciate it. And here's what I will leave you with. We meet every Wednesday. We try to really bring in valuable speakers, trainers, coaches. If you guys aren't promoting this to your team members and your organization, your group, even if it's other realtors that aren't even part of EXP, everybody's welcome here. Okay. Invite and leverage this meeting so that you can let the meetings do the heavy lifting for you, for your buddies, your friends that are in real estate. Have them hop on and see, wow, there's other people besides Jackie or Matthew that are out there. They're all over the nation and they're getting poured into every week. All right. So let's try to continue to grow this and invite every week. We'll see you next week, 9 a.m. Pacific. See you later, guys. Make it a great day.
Hi,
Good to
guys.
see you
Take care.
guys. Bye.
You guys.
Good to see you, Andrew.
Mitch.